It's my first time being live. I'm a little bit nervous here. All right, some people are starting to join in. Well, one person anyways. But I want to start doing these as a means to answer questions. We've got a Slack channel that's part of the Blueprint training where I've already got a list of them. That's where people are getting most of my attention there. So feel free to join. You can ask any questions there. Also, please ask them questions or comments in the, hey, what's up, Marcus, in the questions here. And I'm going to get to as many as I can. I want to try to do this every week for at least 15 to 30 minutes, depending on my schedule. And just depending on the feedback, try and do as many as possible. So I've already got some questions, but as I said, go ahead and fire away as I'm going here. I can stop and answer as many as I can get to. So the first question comes from John Saunders. He asked, is niching down a good thing? And he's trying to niche down in his agency to land more clients. And my honest answer is yes. Personally, our agency right now does not niche down. We service everywhere from e-commerce, B2B, software, pretty much anyone who can pay our retainer. But especially when you're first getting started and when you're trying to break over a certain revenue point, niching down is always a good thing, meaning focusing on lawyers, focusing on plastic surgeons. What's up, Gareth? How's it going, man? But it's not always a good thing because then you have to cut off revenue and you're cutting off other opportunities for getting other clients by just shutting the door on some of them. Some of the benefits of niching down are you can focus your messaging across the board. You can become a niche specialist. Like, for example, attorneys want to work with people who get results. If you have a proven track record of working with attorneys in the past, getting them results, and it's going to be a lot easier to sign them as a client. And John actually asked how he could niche down in his industry and focus on one thing, especially because he's got to cut off revenue. So my first piece of advice would be to focus all your messaging across your website, all your case studies, be the agency that you want to be. Your marketing and your positioning in the market is super important. So just position yourselves as a digital marketing agency as opposed to a attorney marketing agency or a plastic surgeon marketing agency or an e-com marketing agency. Just by that messaging right there, you're putting your position in the market, you're telling people what you're about, and you're going to ideally attract more of those types of clients. Another thing is case studies. Build the case studies around the type of clients that you want to work with and promote them hard. Something that I did very well in the past to get a lot of e-commerce clients in the door a couple of years ago was building case study on a website that I built, Laces Out. I gave some speaking presentations about it, a YouTube video about it, promoted it pretty heavily through Facebook ads, and ended up landing quite a bit of e-commerce clients, so it works really well. Another thing is doing outreach, building your sales pipeline, targeting the companies that you want to work with. So again, if you want to work with e-commerce companies or attorneys, make sure that you're actively reaching out and soliciting those as well. And that's pretty much all I've got on that. As Gareth questioned, any good pointers and strategies for high ticket lead gen? Are we talking lead gen for agencies, lead gen for what type of niche here? So Gareth asked, are there any good pointers or strategies for high ticket lead generation? I'll just speak to that from an agency point of view because we've successfully, let me shut up my phone. We've successfully moved from, you know, I first got started working with a lot of local clients in your $500 to $1,000 type range. Now we won't service anyone at the agency pretty much under $6,000 to $8,000 a month, and that's only for a time return. That doesn't include expenses for link building, for content marketing, things like that. That's just for our time. And really the way that you can jump from small to big is, number one is results, track record, going through the process of working with those small clients and then building that track record, building those reviews, building your case study list, all those types of things. And again, highlighting, just like I said with the agency point of view that John asked, highlighting those case studies that ideally work with the client or highlight the client that you want to work with. So again, specifically, if you have any high ticket clients, or even just going out and so building a track record is one thing, but again, going out and building content to target those types of companies that you want to bring in. An example that we have, I just wrote a blog post about 6 months ago about Demandware SEO. It's a very big e-commerce platform that just by default, if a website runs on Demandware, then I know that they're going to have enough marketing budget to pay for us as an agency. So building that case study specifically about Demandware and the problems that Demandware has from a technical SEO point of view, just that content and that positioning alone is telling the market and telling whoever's looking for it that's what we can do for their business. So again, like I said to John's question, building the agency, building the brand, building the messaging, the focusing that you want to present to the market for the client that you want to work with is huge. And of course, that requires a special set of knowledge. Like, writing that post on demand where it's really hard because it's a very complicated marketing platform that I had to put a lot of research into. Luckily, we have some clients that are running on demandware, but once you have that piece of content, you can then take that and again go out and solicit those high ticket clients because you have something of value to them and it shows your expertise. That's a whole bunch of stuff. So content is really important as well. Somebody else asked, I believe it was Lloyd asked, when is it appropriate to bring link building internal versus external? And he also, off the piggyback of that, asked, can a single link builder be effective? Can one person do it all? So kind of a loaded question, but I'll start with the second part. Can a single link builder do it all? Yes, absolutely. It just depends on the scope of the link building, right? If you're doing link building for one website, I mean, I'm doing it right now for my new website, the blueprint.training. I'm doing a lot of the outreach myself, doing podcast outreach, doing some resource page outreach. It's a lot of work, but one person can do it, but I couldn't do it for more than one website. If that one person, but that's also because I have a million other things going on. If I were to work on one website at a time, or if I was only doing link building, I can do it for multiple websites. But so one person has a dedicated job, they have the skill set, they have to be able to do research, they've got to be able to write pitches, they've got to be able to use a tool like Pitchbox, they have to understand the different types of links available. So they have to have a certain skill set. So you're probably gonna have to pay that person quite a bit of money. And that's where the business decision comes in, is using one person who has that end-to-end skill set to do link building, is that worth the investment in the business versus going out and breaking that up into low-cost offshore people to do prospecting, so people to do email outreach management, things along that nature, and then basically just having a PM or a strategy person sit on top of those people and manage them. So I would go to the latter, is that building a small team with a lot of different remote workers is going to be more cost effective, but it's also more scalable because the more people that you have working, the more time that they can spend on something. And you can basically, the amount of money that you would pay for one really advanced link builder in-house that would be able to work on one thing or end-to-end link building, the investment in that person is going to be pretty much the same, if not more, than building a small team that could basically be an outsourced arm of your agency or link building practice. Even if you're doing this in-house, it would be a lot cheaper, and they can also scale up a lot more because you have 3 people's time as opposed to one. However, generally speaking, if you do have that one person who's extremely advanced and knowledgeable in link building and can do end-to-end link building by themselves, generally the quality of the links will be better. For example, if I just using my skill set, if I'm focusing on link building, I know how to do PR link building, I can do resource page link building, I can do guest post link building, and you're going to pay for that value in my salary, as opposed to going out and having to solicit people to do very specific different parts. They're generally probably going to get more like guest post link building, sponsored post link building. Not that there's anything wrong with those links, but there's a difference in quality, of course, between like a PR style link, a resource page link, and like a guest post link. And then he also asked, is it effective to bring link building internal, or what point do you push external? Again, it all depends on the scope. I can say this, at the agency right now, we do a lot of link building for clients. It's something that we have 2 people locally in Philadelphia, and then a small offshore team to help them out with like prospecting and a lot of kind of like the data and just spreadsheet kind of work that just takes up a lot of their time. We offshore that. But we will still potentially use external link building vendors or other link builders that we trust to help us out, just to deliver on the scope. You know, if a client comes to you and says we want 50 links a month, it's not always feasible to do it with just the team that you have. Sometimes you need external support. So it all depends on the scope. It all depends on how many clients you have, their expectations. It depends on a lot of things. If you guys also have any questions, I'm just over here riffing. Feel free to drop them in. If you don't, I'll just wait for them to come in. I got another question via Slack that says, how does paid help organic? Kind of like, what's the relationship between paid and organic? This is something I'm a big believer in. I got my start in SEO, but I've pretty much moved more heavily into advertising, just because the scalability of it, the quickness to market, the quickness to turn around on ROI for an advertising campaign versus an SEO campaign is lightning fast. But that being said, there's a mutually beneficial relationship between organic and paid, and doing those together. If you're doing that for search, I like to call blended search, so the marriage between paid and organic. The benefits is number one is that if you're going to do SEO perfectly right, you should be doing paid ads first, because what that allows you to do is allows you to explore the market. It allows you to understand volume, true volume, because all these tools don't give you the real search volume. AdWords, when you're bidding on keywords, is the only time you're going to get accurate, not only search volume, but click data as well. Because what happens is we see a keyword that's like, I don't know, like a cell phone, and it's getting searched for 1 million times a month. But what we're not seeing is the cannibalization of the SERPs, how many times people are going to be clicking on ads, all the different knowledge graphs that might be showing up. AdWords is really the only time to really understand the true value in terms of search of a keyword, right? So when you go out and pay for it, you understand how many clicks you're going to get. You understand the value of those clicks. You're obviously going to be pushing those into conversions. You understand the true value of a keyword from a monetary and business point of view, which then can feed in beautifully into an SEO campaign. So understanding kind of like the full scope of the keyword funnel, what keywords are top of the funnel, which ones are true person intent keywords, because we can look at certain keywords based on a keyword tool and make an assumption, but until we actually see people clicking and buying or not buying, or becoming a lead, not buying a lead, becoming a lead from that keyword, we don't really understand the true business impact of that keyword. So having that paid data to feed in first, those paid campaigns, to then extract a true funnel in terms of keywords and how we can optimize a website based on that is incredibly valuable. So that's number one. The relationship between paid and organic is getting the right keyword data and understanding what pops off and what converts. So taking that blended search approach, as I like to call it, and understanding which keywords you should always be paying for with ads, just because number one, it's probably too competitive to ever rank for organic, or just because it just converts really well and you're profitable on it, and that's fine. And then understanding which keywords you should be attacking with organic, which is generally going to be a more content-driven approach. So which keywords should be assigned to map to content, which keywords should be assigned to map to landing pages, which keywords can we rank for, how much value is that going to have in the business, and then feeding that back into how much can we actually invest into this page, into this campaign to get this page to rank. Having that AdWords data gives us that business intelligence that we need to make the educated and informed decisions about it. So that's number one. Number two would be remarketing. So to me, the value of paid and organic, again, is the ability to use organic to spread a very wide reach, because it's essentially, I don't want to say free, but you're paying for the content, the links, whatever, to get it to rank. But once you're getting that organic traffic, it's building, it's growing in perpetuity. You can then remarket off the back of that. So again, understanding if you have a ton of keywords that are valuable to the business, but they're not necessarily going to drive conversions, but you're going to publish that as content, then remarketing off the back of that. So using that paid off the back of your content, especially if you're getting hyper specific. So we go back to talk about that Demandware post. That Demandware post ranks for Demandware SEO now. So that's incredibly valuable to us, because we know if somebody comes to that page through organic search, then they were searching for something related to Demandware and SEO and the issues that they're having with it. So what can we do? We set up a URL specific remarketing campaign off the back of that then feeds them a video on Facebook that says, hey, we're Demandware marketing experts, schedule a consult, let's talk. So using organic to understand the true intent of a keyword, and then nurturing them with paid ads down the funnel to get them to convert. That's another way that paid and organic work really well together. And that's just not Facebook remarketing too. We're talking about AdWords retargeting too, because when somebody is ready to actually hire a Demandware SEO agency, if somebody finds a Demandware SEO post, they're probably not going to convert right off of that. The conversion rate off of that is always going to be low. But then setting up a remarketing ad for more specific bottom of the funnel keywords in search, things like Demandware SEO agency, Demandware support, then bidding on those keywords with remarketing, it's going to be a lot more likely they're going to click, and a lot more likely they're going to convert, because they'll remember your ad, your content before, all that stuff. So that's number two. Number one is using paid search to feed organic campaigns, understanding all that. Number two is using organic to push remarketing and drive more conversions. I would say number three, just the value of paid and organic, is that paid actually drives more organic reach. I actually am paying to promote this thing that we're doing right now. I've set up some ads to drive it, to promote it. I mean, I look at that as organic reach now. It's just paid has kind of become the status quo of getting any sort of visibility on social media, right? If I want to get somebody to see something on social media, I'm going to have to pay for it. And I don't really see that as a bad thing, to be honest with you, for a number of reasons. Number one is it raises the barriers to entry, right? So the people who are actually paying to get exposure are people that are winning. There's just more opportunity because there's so much noise for organic. If you can pay for it and get exposure right away, then you're winning right off the bat. Also, getting stuff to go viral, you've really got to get a lot of eyeballs on it, and to get to do that organically, if you have a small account, it's never going to happen. So using a paid boost to build organic visibility, as much as weird as that kind of sounds, using paid to build virality, build shares, build reach, all that stuff. And then what happens too is the more you advertise, the more followers you're going to get, because again, like, you're really not getting any organic exposure, especially on Facebook now. So using paid to build your following, which is in a sense your organic reach, is huge. I mean, the reason I have all this reach now, again, it's not from getting stuff to go viral or, you know, this and that. It's from paid. It's from paying for that reach and paying for that exposure, which then gives me, this is an organic play right here, gives me more organic reach off the back of that. So paid definitely feeds directly into organic, just in terms of expanding reach. And then, yeah, basically what I just said, the fourth point that I had was just, social is really pay to play now. You know, honestly, if you want to have any sort of exposure, and Instagram still has a good organic reach, but honestly, like, that's why Instagram ads are also so effective right now, because nobody's really advertising, especially in the marketing and entrepreneur space. There's quite a bit of e-com and B2C advertising going on Instagram. My girlfriend gets served the ads all the time, stories, all this different stuff. But in the B2B space, no one's really still taking advantage of it, which is something I've really been capitalizing on recently. And having my Instagram ads are converting way better than my Facebook ads are, at a much cheaper rate, because there's less people trying to compete for me for those CPMs on Instagram. People are still buying traffic on Facebook because they assume that marketers and tech people, they don't use Instagram, which is bullshit. They do. They use it all the time. And I would make the argument too that they probably even use it more than Facebook. Facebook has just died in a lot of ways, and Instagram's replaced it. You know, I check Instagram at least, and this is just me personally, but I check Instagram at least like 50 more times than I do Facebook. I check Facebook like really to check my ads, and then I even have my newsfeed blocked on Facebook because I could give a shit what people are talking about. No offense. But just because of the nature of the content gets shared on Facebook, Instagram is a lot more personal, just in a lot of reasons. So those are my reasons why paid and organic go together. There's 4 of them in there. It feeds keyword selection. Paid search feeds should feed your organic campaigns. Organic should support remarketing, and vice versa. And paid is just honestly the best way to get organic exposure to, as ironic as that sounds. So those are all the questions for Slack. Does anybody in here have any questions, anything they want to rap about? You guys are pretty quiet. No? All right, I'm gonna give you guys like 15 more seconds. No questions. All right. I'm a busy man. I know you guys are all too. I will be reposting this so you guys can see it. If you guys got any value from it, the 15 to 20 people that have showed up today, I will be reposting this video. I'll be advertising heavily. Please tag someone, invite some more people to come to this in the future. Send me your questions, drop them in the digital marketing consultant group. You can join our Slack channel too. If you go to theblueprint.training and then you go to the get started page, and even the free trial, you get access to one of the free channels in our Slack channel. That's where I am putting most of my time. I'm in there nonstop all day answering people's questions. And if you really want to get a question up here that you want me to give you an answer like this, I'm happy to do it. Again, you can drop it in there. Slack is probably the best way to do it. You saw I answered all Slack questions today from all the members of the Blueprint who are in there. And I'm going to try and do these once a week. Again, time permitting, abiding, is that? I don't even know the word. Time permitting, I want to do once of these a week. Even try and get some other people to come up here and answer questions. I will bear the brunt of this for the time being, but honestly, I'm not nearly as smart as a lot of people out there. I've got a lot of awesome friends in the space. So if you guys have anyone else that you would love to see come up here and do a Q&A like this, again, drop me some names. I'll reach out to them and see if we can get something going. If not, I will give you guys the rest of your Wednesday back. For those of you who showed up, I genuinely appreciate it. Again, tag a friend, invite somebody else to this event. I'll be doing the same time next week right through this group. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to sign off unless there's any more questions. No one wants to know how to make $1 million bucks. All right, fine. I offered it up, but no one wants to hear it. So again, I appreciate your time, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.